Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I am Raven.
And I'm Jess.
Did I catch you by surprise this time?
Almost.
You saw it coming.
Yeah.
You weren't taken by surprise. Shit! Damn it!
Heck, I'm waiting for you, mister. I mean, Mrs.
What? Okay. First, before we get into anything, we should say that we are now on all of the streaming platforms.
Yeah! We did it!
We did it! So we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, all the shits. So if you hate listening on YouTube, which I would,
yeah,
then listen to us on there, please. It's super, super easy.
Super easy.
I even downloaded Spotify on Mom's phone so she could listen to us.
Aww. But she doesn't have premium, right?
No.
She's gonna
But podcasts are still fine. You can listen to whatever episode you want without premium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. It seemed to work that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
She'll just get ads, but who cares?
Yeah. True. Or is that just with music? I don't know. I've never tried listening to podcasts on Spotify.
Oh. I would think they would have ads, too. How else are they going to make them money?
When people listen to music.
Okay.
I'm coughing today a lot.
Yeah? Is it allergies? Because Johnny and I have been dying.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are in a very,
But we, usually keep the windows and shit open.
I should clarify. You live in the middle of nowhere. There's tons of trees and tons of plant life and stuff. But yeah, if you guys are keeping do you go out a lot? I mean, you go to work.
Yeah, well,
that'll be enough.
We try to go out just because I just want to go out.
I see pictures of you, sitting out in the yard drinking your sangrias and shit.
Yeah,
that sounds nice.
I need my fresh air.
See, I can totally do that, but I'm a disgusting troll who lives inside and just plays video games. That sounds really nice though. Actually, I did go outside with Mike today.
Oh, what did you do?
We
walked to the car?
Shut the fuck up. Yes. But we also went to the backyard and played some spike ball.
Ah, get that exercise in.
You know what spike ball is?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I was kind of surprised because I was I've never heard of spike ball before Mike started playing it.
Oh, so what the fuck is spike ball?
It's like a discount volleyball, kind of. There's a tiny ball that you smack at a trampoline and it bounces off the trampoline and then someone else smacks it back.
So
kind of thing.
When you get one of those tennis balls and hit it against the wall and it bounces back. But
well, this one you do play with. You play with other people with this one, but yeah, kind of. I did also want to correct something from a previous episode.
Cool.
We were talking about where testosterone comes from.
Okay.
And obviously the testes, and we found out the adrenal gland as well. And you said the adrenal gland was in the brain. It is not in the brain.
Oh, shit.
It's like a gland that sits on top of the kidneys.
What?
Yeah. So, fun fact of the day.
Learn something new.
Yeah. What else is new? Do you have any updates?
Going to Exit with you is new.
Oh, yeah. We went to an escape room together for Father's Day. But then her father didn't show up. But that's a whole nother thing.
Gosh darn.
Yeah. But how'd you like it? That was your first time doing an escape room.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. But it also felt pretty useless.
Oh. Yeah. Mike and I were there and we've done tons of escape rooms. And I used to work at an escape room place. So we kind of knew what we were doing.
Kind of carried us through.
Yeah. But I mean, as long as you had fun.
But now I got the gist of it. I feel like it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I will do it again.
Cool. We should do it again.
Yeah.
It was fun. There was another one at that place. I might have mentioned this to you already. That's like all gadgets. So when you want like hints, you don't call people in.
Oh.
It's more like you get like a tablet, I think. It's all gadgets. So it's not just unlocking stuff. It's like you'll put something on something, which will like make something else happen type of thing.
What?
Yeah, it involves like magnets and...
Ooh, what's that one again?
I think that's the 007 one.
So that's part of the exit?
Yeah, it's out there.
Ooh.
It's at the same place.
Because I saw a secret agent one there. I was looking
Yeah,
at
it's that one.
Ooh!
It's that one. I've been doing a lot of lifting at work lately, and apparently I don't lift I'm wearing a wrist brace. Apparently I'm not lifting properly.
Is that carpal tunnel?
Okay. You know, like, the bunch of little bones down in this area? They're called the carpals.
Yeah.
I feel like they've moved out of position or something. But yeah, when I twist my wrist, it like crunches. So I got myself a wrist brace with like a splint to try and, I don't know, improve it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I might have to wear it at work as well. Fun stuff.
Damn. Oh, a couple weeks ago, I was playing Magic the Gathering on Steam.
Oh.
And Johnny's stepbrother comes in and just to visit, say hi.
Okay.
He sees me playing it and he goes nuts because he loves Magic the Gathering.
Oh, shit.
Like, obsessed. And he goes racing upstairs, comes back with his decks to show me. He's so excited.
Is this the kid?
Yeah. Dallas, I think he's like 17 or 18.
Oh, okay.
You might have
He's
seen
not
him
the
in the
kid.
backyard
Maybe.
doing chores.
I heard someone screaming at Dallas out there earlier.
It was from Tammy. No, I can't even imagine a child like Aiden playing Magic the Gathering.
We were playing it when we were
I
that
guess.
age.
I guess. Because we had our dad.
Yeah.
Anyways, where was I?
He got
Oh
excited.
yeah.
Brought his
So he
decks
brings
down.
out his decks and he like puts them all in front of me. We're sitting on the floor now, across
Okay.
each other, because he wants to show me.
Yeah.
So he goes through each of his decks and like explains his strategy for each one that he plays. He goes to these tournaments all the time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he was just so excited, and he's never spoken to me this much in 5 years I've been with Johnny. And he was just so excited. He was like all flushed and stuff. It was pretty amazing.
Nerdy shit brings people together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of so I taught Mike how to play Magic very early on in our relationship. And I think one of his friends found out that he was playing Magic and he was like, "Oh, that's so cool, we should play sometime." And then Mike was like, "Oh yeah, Raven taught me." And he was like, "Wait, she taught you how to play Magic?" And then he was like, "Wed her." That's funny. All right. Oh, I've been watching BuzzFeed Unsolved lately. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like these two guys who go investigating like supernatural,
Oh.
like haunted houses or like true crime locations kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I mean, it sounds like it would be spooky. It is kind of spooky, but it's mostly funny because one of the guys is like always scared, and he's like a mega believer in like ghosts and paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
But the other guy's a total cynic. So he'll just be like rolling his eyes and like their dynamic is just really good. They're really funny. I would recommend it.
Who are they? Are they one of the popular BuzzFeed guys?
I think so. Their names are Ryan and Shane.
I need to see their faces.
I can show you. I'll show you right now.
Ooh.
If you watch like BuzzFeed videos, then you've probably seen them before.
Yeah, so I know I'll probably recognize them.
This is the believer / always scared guy.
Oh yeah, but I've seen him.
Yeah. And then this is Shane. Oh, this is them together.
Oh. Yeah.
They just look good together too.
They do.
Like
It's
they
a
look
cute
goofy.
picture.
Yeah. It's good. It's so funny. Every time Ryan hears a noise, he's just like Did you hear that? And then Shane's like, yeah, it was an owl. We can watch one together later.
Okay.
Okay, so next, I'm just like using this opportunity to be like, I recommend this, and I recommend this, and watch this, and watch that.
Next episode.
Oh, the next one's gonna be all about Game of Thrones.
Oh my god.
We're gonna get back into it. Cyberpunk 2077. Have you heard of it?
It has Keanu.
That's all you know?
Yeah.
You've seen the memes?
I've seen all of the Keanu memes on Reddit.
Yeah. Have you watched when he was at E3? Did you watch that video?
No.
No? Oh my god.
I'm just like, okay, Keanu memes, die, please.
No! Keanu!
I like him, he's a good person, but
it's
not funny.
Well, that's because you haven't watched The Thing.
Oh.
Bruh. I can't show it to you on my laptop. Fuck! I always forget. God damn it. Okay.
I need a tablet.
So what happens is at E3 they show the first cinematic trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, right? And then at the end of it, it reveals that Keanu Reeves is in it, which is super fucking exciting. He looks super badass. Have you seen the picture of him in it? He looks dope as hell, right?
Yeah.
So then after he comes out onto the stage, surprise, he's there, and he's advertising it. And he starts talking about, how cool it is. And then he gets heckled.
Oh.
But wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Let me tell you, the feeling of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking.
That's the meme. So he says, walking the streets of the future is going to be breathtaking. And the guy in the crowd's like, you're breathtaking. So super cute, super funny. It's just such a wholesome meme, That's why people are obsessed with it. All right, shall we finally get into it? What tea are we drinking today, Jessica? Ew, did you just spit back in your cup?
I took too much. I couldn't swallow.
Ew, there's a string connecting your cup to your lip. Ew.
Oh well. It's supposed to be chamomile citrus. Citrus chamomile?
Okay.
Something like that.
Have we had this one before?
I don't know.
Tastes familiar.
Maybe. We've had chamomile before. Could be that.
Yeah, could be that. I don't taste the citrus that much.
Me neither.
Oh well.
I like the chamomile though.
Oh yeah, chamomile's really nice.
It's delicious.
Alright. You ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chapter 13, right?
Cry to Heaven by Anne Rice. Part 4, Chapter 13.
Chapter 13.
Alright, here we go. 7 months go by since the last chapter. Tonio receives a letter from his mother telling of the birth of her second son, Marcello Antonio Tresci. So
Aww.
she named him after Tonio, his middle name.
Yeah.
In the letter, she also says that not an hour goes by that she doesn't think of Tonio. She's always blaming herself, and she says Tonio isn't lost to her, and no new child can take his place. So that really surprised me and warmed my heart.
Yeah, that was pretty adorable.
Yeah.
But I guess, firstborn child, you're gonna form the attachment.
I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. What would I expect from Mariana, I guess? I don't know. After the decision she made, I guess I was, feeling that maybe Tonio wasn't that special to her.
Oh.
But that's, I don't know.
She's weak-minded, I guess.
Yeah. Hard not to be when you grow up in that sort of environment, I guess.
Yeah.
A few days later, Tonio performs in his first lead role in an opera written entirely by Guido. But all this time, he can't help being obsessed with thoughts of his mother. He's angry that she had ever believed Carlo's lies about what happened to Tonio, but also understands that if she hadn't chosen to believe him and had refused to marry him, he would have kicked her out of the house and sent her back to the convent, where she likely would have died.
Mm-hmm. What deteriorated?
Yeah. Just from depression, I guess. Like, would have stopped eating, you know.
Yeah, her mental health isn't very good.
It's already not good, yeah. Antonio thinks about how he is going to send her back to her loneliness when he kills Carlo.
The plan is still on.
Yeah, of course. Nothing's going to stop him. Although Tonio may be lost to her, or may not be lost to her, she is lost to him. Sadness. Tonio has been receiving a ton of invitations to sing at private suppers and concerts, and he goes, but as time passes, he stops going, which Guido is furious about. He says that Tonio must be heard by foreign visitors, I suppose to increase his, like, reach and, like, fame.
Mm-hmm.
But Tonio says they can just come hear him at the Conservatorio then. It's the only place Tonio will perform now, and he's staying indoors at the Conservatorio more and more when he's not out fencing. Antonio is still seeing the pretty blonde girl around. She's at the school every time Tonio performs, and from time to time, Tonio returns to the Contessa's to go into the chapel and admire her artwork. But sometimes when he sees her in the ballroom, he stares at her so boldly and so long that he thinks her family will surely take offense. But they never do. Tonio is also still receiving letters from Katrina, although he hardly ever answers her anymore. And her letters are becoming more and more bold. She tells him that Carlo is still being unfaithful to Mariana, and that he bursts into tears at the mere mention of Tonio, acting like he's so grateful that Tonio is doing so well in Naples. But Carlo also seems concerned that Tonio is on stage in the spotlight so often, and that he's spending so much time playing with swords. Carlo's a smart dude.
Yeah.
He's like, I see what's happening here. But Carlo acts like he's concerned about Tonio's safety. Katrina seems very aware of Carlo's fakery here, though. Katrina also warns Tonio to be careful, that Carlo might use this as an excuse to send over some of his bravos for Tonio's protection. Air quotes. But, you know, would be there to, like, control him.
Yeah, basically stop him from doing anything.
Yeah. Kick his ass. Tonio keeps this letter for a long time before burning it, but Katrina's warnings are still lost on him. He doesn't change anything in his own life. In fact, he's more dedicated than ever to perfecting his swordplay, as well as pistol shooting and stiletto stabbing. Tonio is driven not only by his hatred for Carlo, but also by the fact that he can no longer conceal his castrato nature anymore. When he's out and about, he gets looks from people that tell him they know he's a eunuch. But also that he had won their respect. Did you just fart?
I feel like that was my stomach.
That was your stomach?
Yeah, and I even, like, felt my whole, like, insides just go...
Weird. Just a bubble moving around.
I guess so.
It sounded like a fart.
It did. I was like, wow, did I just fart? Why did my butt
The
not
only
feel
reason I
nothing?
believe you is because my stomach has done that before. Weird. So, Tonio wishes to be the next Caffarelli, but he also dreads it. He loves performing and he loves opera, but Mariana has had 2 sons in 2 years, which is insane, and so it means that his revenge path is looming really quickly. Yeah. He kind of wishes they would have taken longer pumping out the babies, so he would have more time with Guido on the stage. And that's the end of chapter 13.
The only thing that I noticed in this chapter, that Tonio has been referring to Carlo as his brother. And he keeps referring to Carlo as his brother.
Yeah.
So he's refusing to just give him that little bit of, what's the word?
Authority?
Yeah.
I guess it's just an easier way to look at it, that he's his shitty brother and not his, like, actual dad.
I think he still considers Andrea his father.
Yeah, which
even though he still
right?
feels betrayed.
Yeah. Good catch, though. Chapter 14. Tonio is in a bar drinking when he realized he has been in Naples for 3 years.
Yeah, I was like, whoa!
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Where'd time go? Does that mean he's 18?
Yeah, he went there when he was 15, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's 18. Which seems impossible to him, which seems impossible to us, too. But it also seems like he has been there all his life and has never known any other world. He loves Naples. It has its problems, poverty, idle nobility, etc., but he has come to understand it and feels like a part of it. Earlier that day, Tonio had been stuck at the tailor's, where the seamstresses reminded him of his increasing height. He's now 6 feet tall, and obviously a eunuch. There's no hiding it anymore. He thinks about how many compliments he gets, and is brought back to when Andrea denounced a world in which all is measured by taste. Antonio thinks that it is taste that keeps the castrati fashionable, and he finds it horrible. Huh. Did you catch that when you were reading it?
No.
Yeah. But yeah, cool little callback to, Andrea's dying words. Like, those were pretty much when he was getting loopy, right?
Yeah.
Tonio logged it away. Tonio has noticed himself becoming attracted to freaks, like dwarves and cripples. I don't like calling them freaks, but he called them freaks.
Yeah.
Because he feels like he's one of them. At the tailor, he buys every fabric they show him in order to render himself invisible. So, like, gloves, neckties, handkerchiefs, like, he's covering himself,
Yeah.
I guess. Like,
He's still ashamed.
but you would think that if he's covering himself with all this fancy stuff, it would make him stand out more.
I would think so too.
Right? It's just like, I don't know, maybe if he feels like if he covers up all his skin, he's somehow...
Yeah, like you won't take notice of his long arms and legs.
Yeah, I guess clothing can conceal that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Or,
especially
like,
if it's like cloaks and stuff.
big ruffles and stuff can, like, hide.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Jewelry.
Yep. But as he's sitting in the bar, he thinks that he could have lost his voice like Guido, though. So maybe he shouldn't be worrying about things like looking like what he is.
Yeah.
But lately, Tonio had been arguing with Guido and the Maestro di Cappella about Tonio refusing to play the prima donna in the spring opera, saying again that he will never play women's roles. And something else that has been going on lately, too, is that Tonio hasn't seen the pretty blonde girl around lately. Not at the opera, not at the chapel, not at the Contessa's last ball, and it's starting to disturb him. As for performing as a woman, Tonio's teachers aren't leaving him alone about it. Centuries ago, the first castrati were basically created for that purpose, to play women's parts, because apparently women weren't good enough. So finally, the maestro called Tonio in and tells him the time for his debut is almost at hand.
Yay!
Tonio doesn't think he's ready, but the maestro says that he would know better than anyone who is ready and who isn't.
Tonio's just anxious. I think he wants to stay at the conservatorio.
He also brings up that Tonio refusing to play at private functions is not okay either, and he asks Tonio whether he realizes that this school has become a refuge for him. Tonio seems uncomfortable with that statement, but the maestro goes on, saying that he didn't think Tonio would be able to handle the discipline here, but he has surprised him by being exceptional and thriving. He believes Tonio is ready for the world, but this school is not the world. Tonio then confides in the maestro that he has never been happier than he is at the conservatorio. Yeah. This doesn't surprise the maestro. A long time ago, he promised that Tonio's voice would be his strength if he let it, and now it is. Then he tells Tonio that Guido is also ready for the world, and he's ready to write Tonio's premiere opera for the Roman stage.
Ooh.
So he's basically saying Tonio is the one who's holding Guido back. Feel the guilt, Tonio. But Tonio isn't really thinking about this. His mind is on himself. Surprise, surprise. He's thinking how he would have been a man by now, and he's thinking about how his voice is soft and low, and not the manly timbre he remembers from his cousin.
What a waste of thoughts.
Yeah. You've thought this 1,000 times, and
not
it's
gonna
not
change
changing
nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable, but it's like, fuck.
Still bitter.
Yeah. The maestro continues, telling Tonio that there are other students ready to take the spotlight. But this doesn't seem to affect Tonio. Then the maestro reveals that he knows what happened to Tonio. Tonio says he can't know, because it has never happened to him, because the maestro is a whole man.
Yeah.
Whole with a W. He has his testes. But the maestro replies with something interesting. Quote, "True evil in this world is done by those with no imagination. I have imagination. I know what you lost." End quote. What do you think of this?
I remember sitting and I was trying to grasp it.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
True evil's done by those with no imagination. What does that mean? Like, you can get creative.
Right?
I thought that was pretty creative of Carlo. Pretty
Right?
smart, right?
I thought so too.
So yeah, it's like, I'm not really sure what he meant.
Me neither. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonio just asks for a little time, and the maestro, thinking he had been understood, dismisses Tonio. So,
Joke's on you.
yeah. Back to Tonio drinking at the bar. He's finally done. He heads back to the conservatorio. He has a plan to go see Caffarelli, who was in Naples, with Guido, and then take Guido to the albergo that night. When he finds Guido... yeah, sexy times.
Kind of brings back Domenico.
Yeah, totally does. When he finds Guido in his room, he's getting ready to go out and tells Tonio he wants him to come to the Contessa's house early tonight and to not drink any more wine. Tonio can't believe the irony of all this. He remembers Domenico's plans at the same albergo years before. So, does this mean Tonio was wanting to surprise Guido with, like, these plans of the albergo?
Maybe.
And the yeah, and
That's what I was thinking.
And Guido's now telling him that, no,
Nope.
we have to go to the Contessa's tonight. So Tonio's probably like, what the fuck? Why tonight? Yeah. That would make it ironic if that was the case, for sure. Tonio doesn't understand why he has to go to the Contessa's tonight, and Guido explains that it's her first ball after her cousin died. So Guido wants Tonio to be there early because the Contessa likes him. So yeah, Tonio goes to see Caffarelli by himself. Then he goes to the Contessa's early. He had grown tired of going to the Contessa's balls ever since the pretty blonde girl stopped going.
Oh.
But he hopes he will see her tonight. Since it's still so early, Tonio goes for a walk through the rose garden behind the house, and then notices a light coming from an outbuilding near the back of the house. The doors are open, and inside he can see it's full of paintings of angels and saints, and they all seem darker and more solemn than anything he'd seen in Venice. He moves closer and sees the pretty blonde girl inside, covered in paint and working away on her art. Tonio is shocked that these paintings are hers, since they have more of an authority or virility than what he'd seen in the chapel. I looked up what virility meant, but I forgot.
Is it lifelike?
I don't think so. Define Oh, yeah. I wasn't very happy with this. The quality of... In a man, the quality of having strength, energy, and a strong sex drive. / manliness.
Lifelike.
Where does it say that?
Well, that's how I'm understanding it. Like, having, like, a strong... Like, being energetic.
These are all qualities in a man, specifically.
Oh.
So it's like masculinity.
Oh, this one.
The quality or state of being virile. A manhood sense, manly vigor, masculinity.
Okay.
Right?
Alrighty.
Fucking whack. Tonio is immediately noticing any bit of bare skin on her. From her rolled up sleeves.
You perf.
And he realizes he's alone with her.
Ooh.
Then she turns around and sees him. They acknowledge each other, and Tonio notices she seems happy. Then her expression changes into something serious, and Tonio realizes she isn't very good at hiding her thoughts and emotions. He believes she wants to touch him, and boy does he want to touch her. He imagines himself doing terrible things to her, and he can feel himself flushing. He also thinks the dark colors she's painting with seem wrong for her. This just fucking bothers me.
Yeah.
The whole, like, her paintings are masculine, and, like, she shouldn't be painting with dark colors. Like, fucking fuck you,
Man,
Tonio.
A few chapters later, something is compared to that again, and I was like, what the...
We'll bring it up again. But
I guess
yeah.
that's just the time they're in.
Yeah. Still. It bothers me that Tonio thinks he knows anything about her.
Right?
All he's done is project his perfect woman onto the form of this girl.
Yeah. So it's thinking, like, how do you know?
Yeah. Like, these dark colors seem wrong for you. They don't really seem like you, girl. It's like, what the fuck do you know?
Reminds me of, like, those nice guys you hear of.
Ugh. Shut your ass up, Tonio. God. Anyway, she's smiling again and invites him to come in and sit with her for a while. But he's kind of terrified, so he politely declines, saying he doesn't want to bother her and that they haven't been properly introduced before. But she says that everyone knows Signor Tresci. Then they stand in silence staring at each other before the Contessa's valet appears and summons Tonio elsewhere. Tonio rushes to answer the summons, because he doesn't want to be alone with her anymore.
Gosh darn coward.
Yeah, he's got too many butterflies. And he finds Guido and the Contessa getting dressed after some lovemaking, which obviously makes him furious. But he tries not to hold it against the Contessa because she isn't intentionally trying to hurt Tonio.
Sure.
Yeah, obviously she doesn't know anything about their situation. And honestly, she seems like super open-minded, so I feel like she would
like a
even
nice
be
gal.
cool with it, yeah.
I don't even think she cares that Guido has other lovers.
Yeah, agreed. The Contessa asks Tonio how his voice is tonight and asks him to sing her a little something. Tonio is outraged. He thinks he's being trapped into singing, so he kind of belts out a few notes at full volume just to kind of like spite them.
Yeah.
And the Contessa's startled, which I think is cute. She's just like, whoa. Then she hands him a score, one written by Guido, and asks if he can sing it tonight with her for her guests. Tonio is even more pissed now.
It's kind of sneaky of Guido to just trick him into going, like, you're going to perform at this supper, because he's been, like, denying all of them.
Yeah.
He just sneaks him in.
And I was like, it's happening, bitch. So, yeah, Tonio understands this. So he glares at Guido. He knows Guido set this up. And Guido obviously knows Tonio doesn't want to sing at private events. So, the whole thing, yeah. Tonio's like, fuck you, man. Tonio tries to politely reject the Contessa, but she begs him, saying it's the only thing that will help her heal after her cousin's death. Tonio thinks it must be a trick, but she seems sincere. Tonio says he can't do it, he's never rehearsed it, and then whispers to Guido, quote, "How can you do this to me?" End quote. The Contessa tells Tonio he can have an hour to practice and to not be angry with Guido because it's her request. Guido thinks Tonio is being foolish and tells him it's an honor to sing with the Contessa. He tells Tonio to go practice and then whispers to him the same thing. "How can you do this to me?" What's that about? What's Tonio doing to him? Just refusing? And, like, embarrassing him? That's kind of fucked up. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Because Guido promised, I guess. He's like, you have to do it.
And, like, this woman is hosting you, and now you're gonna refuse?
Yeah, and this woman has been, like, nothing but kind to Tonio, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Tonio knows there's no escape. So, he tries to summon some courage from watching Caffarelli, and then asks Guido if he truly believes he can do it. Guido has no doubt, and tells Tonio it's the right time. Tonio practices for a full hour and a half before heading down to the ballroom. There are hundreds of people here now, and he's terrified. Then he spots Caffarelli himself come in and greet the Contessa. Oh, shit. Now, this is how a good writer raises the stakes. Forcing Tonio to sing in front of his idol. But he already doesn't want to sing, so it's like, how could it make this worse for him? Right?
I know.
Have Caffarelli be there. Guido appears and asks Tonio if he's ready, but Tonio doesn't think he can sing in front of Caffarelli. But Guido just kind of sneers in Caffarelli's direction. Does Guido not like him?
I don't think so.
I think Guido thinks Caffarelli's nothing compared to Tonio.
Yeah,
I think he thinks Tonio's
what I
way
think.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you're embarrassed.
He's
in
like,
front of
yeah,
him?"
exactly. In front of him, Tonio? Really? I've already told you you're as good as... What was the guy's name? Started with an F.
The Greats.
Faravelli?
Ah!
Something? Faravelli? Something like that. Guido tells Tonio to follow the Contessa's pace, but Tonio still doesn't feel ready for this. Maestro Cavallo and Benedetto appear, so everyone's kind of showing up. Mm-hmm. And then Guido tells Tonio to wait by the harpsichord. So as soon as everyone started showing up, I started to get, like, kind of suspicious. Like, this is more than, like... Did the Contessa organize this? That doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? But we'll get to the answer. Tonio is standing in front of everyone, and he feels super uncomfortable. Like, he doesn't even know how to hold his arms, which is so relatable.
Yeah,
That's,
right.
like, crazy. He even catches Caffarelli's eye as a hush falls over the crowd. The Contessa joins Tonio. Then he realizes that the pretty blonde girl isn't here. He feels like they can't start without her here. He seems to find some kind of strength in her, eh?
Mm-hmm.
But he's also terrified of her.
It's dynamic.
Yeah. Then the music begins. Tonio closes his eyes, and when he opens them again, he feels completely calm. Well, that was easy. The Contessa begins to sing, and although she's an amateur vocalist, she's had, like, no training. Her voice is low and lustrous, sweet and intoxicating.
I don't think so.
You're like, I don't think it sounds like that. She sings about love, and Tonio sings back at her. The description of their singing is about 1.5 pages long.
Yeah.
And tells a story about their voices, like, serenading each other's and falling in love and trying to unite. But I did think that it's really fascinating how Anne Rice is able to capture the magic of music in this passage. I can't read the whole thing because it's too long, but I did want to read one part. Quote, "His voice was seducing her voice, not merely for its answers, but for that moment when the two would come together in one song. Even his softest, most languid notes told her that, and her slow passages so full of dark color echoed the same vibrant desire." End quote. Thoughts?
Nicely written.
I think it's really cool to, like, obviously this is a completely, like, most writers will describe, you know, visual things. Right?
Yeah.
It's almost always visual. So to describe something that's audible. Did I say that right?
I think so.
So describe something audible in that much detail and, like, such creative, colorful language as well, I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And effective. Finally, it's over, and Caffarelli is the first to leap to his feet and start clapping. The Contessa goes to kiss Tonio, and when she sees the look of sadness in his face, she hugs him close. Man, it seems like it's going so well, but then Tonio's just still traumatized all the time. So everyone starts coming up and complimenting Tonio and Guido's music, but Tonio finds it unendurable. He wants to be alone with Guido, but Guido is off somewhere else. The Contessa introduces Tonio to someone called Signor Ruggiero, and as people keep congratulating him, we'll get back to him, by the way. As people keep congratulating Tonio, he asks the Contessa about the pretty blonde girl. Finally, he's gonna learn some shit about her instead of having to make up some bullshit. The Contessa says he must be talking about her recently widowed cousin. She had been married to her cousin who just died. She's also apparently English. Tonio thinks her being a widow makes her even more desirable.
It doesn't feel like she's a virgin anymore. It doesn't feel as nasty.
Yeah. It's like he thinks a virgin is unattainable for him. So yeah, I don't feel like he doesn't want to taint anyone.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, like, in noble society, women needed to be virgins to get married.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
right.
what he's thinking.
I think you're right. Tonio.
That's new.
Tonio. Tonio finally spots Guido and tries to make his way over to him. And then he sees Paolo and is confused why he's here. Paolo explains that everyone came to hear Tonio sing. Duh. But Tonio doesn't understand how they knew he was going to sing. Paolo's like, everyone knew. Duh.
Except for you, Tonio.
Yeah. So Guido must have been planning this singing ambush for a while.
Sneak.
Yeah, and Tonio seems to realize this as well. You would think Tonio would feel betrayed, but it turns out he's happy and excited?
Once he actually does it.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, because it didn't really explain why he felt happy and excited, so I was like, what the fuck?
He actually likes doing it, but I guess maybe the anxiety of
Yeah.
going out and doing it prevents them.
So now that it's done, he's feeling
Like,
more.
oh yeah, it wasn't
like,
as bad as I
thanks
thought
for
it was.
making me do it, kind of thing. Okay, that makes sense. That also makes me wonder, did Guido invite Caffarelli? Or did he get, like, the Contessa to invite Caffarelli or something?
One of them had to have.
Because it wouldn't just show up there.
No. One of them had to invite him.
Yeah. And if the Contessa did, it's most likely because Guido told her to. I think.
Maybe she just likes him. I don't know.
Could be that, but, like, were there any other big-name castrato there? Doesn't say. But Tonio wouldn't really notice anyone except Caffarelli anyway, right? But yeah, I just thought that if Guido invited Caffarelli, because he knows he's Tonio's idol, then that's kind of cute. Even because he doesn't even seem to like him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paolo tells Tonio this was the best he has ever sung, and he will never forget it for as long as he lives. Aww. Then he suddenly starts crying because Tonio was leaving. Tonio's like, huh?
Perfect.
Yeah, Tonio's like, huh? Then he hears an argument between Guido the Maestro and Signor Ruggiero. Told you we'd come back to him. Guido's like, 500 ducats! And the Maestro's like, let me handle this, Guido. So it sounds like they're trying to sell Tonio or something. At first I was like, whoa! The Contessa notices Tonio listening, and so she like scurries him away and is like, go upstairs. But Tonio wants to know what's going on and who exactly Ruggiero is. But the Contessa tells him she doesn't want him to know until it's all settled and asks him to follow her upstairs. That's the end of chapter 14. Dang! Yeah, at the time of reading this, I had no idea what was going on here. Because it sounded like they're selling Tonio.
Literally what I have written in the bottom.
What
is going on?
Yeah, that's funny. I wrote, wow, what do you think is happening here?
Just as confused as you.
Yeah. Yeah, so we will find out. Let me sip some tea. Chapter 15. Do you just yawn?
Fuck, yeah. You literally just woke me from a nap when you came over.
Okay, true. I was gonna be like, bitch. I'm offended. Okay. Chapter 15. It's 3 a.m, but half the company is still... Oh, fuck! You know what I realized? At the beginning of this, we didn't do, like, a... Where we left off our characters. Oh. Shit. Sorry. Fuck. It's 3 a.m, but half the company is still in the Contessa's house. Tonio is waiting upstairs, thinking they must be making some theatrical negotiations downstairs. But he isn't sure what exactly is going on, and he's thinking that 500 ducats is a fortune. Tonio is worried about his performance, but he thinks about Caffarelli applauding him, but maybe he was just being gracious to the Contessa. Tonio keeps telling himself that the Signor Ruggiero could just be the owner of a small theater, that all this could be nothing huge, but then he thinks again about how much money 500 ducats is. Yeah, if he owned a small theater, I don't think he would be able to spend 500 ducats on one castrato. Tonio also can't stop thinking about the pretty blonde girl. He realizes she had been married to that old man he saw her with before, and she clearly wasn't happy with him because, you know, she had always been in tears pretty much whenever Tonio saw her. But now she's free. Tonio thinks that maybe the people downstairs had forgotten him. He still hears them talking when he pokes his head out the door, so he makes his way out the back stairs. Where are you going, Tonio? Outside the back of the house, Tonio can see through the window Guido, Maestro Cavalla, and Signor Ruggiero still talking while the Contessa looks on. So he sneaks to the outbuilding, where the door is still open. He goes inside, lights a candle, and sits in front of the half-finished painting the girl had been working on. He thinks that her skill has improved immensely since she painted the chapel, and her paintings feel more lively and perhaps more lewd now.
Oh. Ooh.
Showing a little nip.
More penis action?
A little more penis.
Wasn't she described
Painting
as
naked men, yeah.
Penis painter?
That's what that other guy, I forget his name.
Yeah, someone else said that 3 chapters ago.
Paula. No. Yeah, so he notices this lack of innocence in the paintings, which is what he had immediately associated with when he first saw her. Associated her with.
Yeah.
So I think he's fascinated by how wrong he was, and that the kind of person she actually is, you know, kind of a mystery. He doesn't actually know. Tonio realizes she had an accent when she spoke to him, and then wonders if, because she's alone now without her husband, that it's even worse for her than her marriage was, which saddens him. Because I guess he knows what it feels like to be so lonely.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, maybe he thinks about his mom, too. He suddenly wishes she would leave him alone.
This weirdo.
Yeah. But then he realizes right away, thankfully, that he's the one who's been ogling her the whole time until she was basically forced to acknowledge him. So, when he goes to leave, he sees her sitting in the rose garden. She had been watching him. She gets up and comes toward him, and he can kind of see her body beneath her robe. So, he's basically foaming at the mouth at this point.
Nosebleed.
Tenting in the middle of the fucking rose garden. Hello. She stops in front of him, and Tonio wants her so badly he's in agony. And he feels violent suddenly. Why does this keep happening? God. Sick. I guess it's just, I don't know. Like, he was abused physically growing up.
Sure.
But why is it immediately connecting with sex for him?
Aggression and sex.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of men, actually. I don't know, maybe lust also brings out the aggression.
Yeah. It kind of, brings out the animal nature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I saw it.
But yeah, so they just kind of stand there staring at each other until the girl frowns and walks away and disappears into the darkness. So, back in the room he had been waiting in originally, Tonio can't believe that nothing happened between them.
That's because of you.
It had felt destined to him, to some degree, that they would be together, and he was certain that she had offered herself to him in that moment, but
she did.
He hadn't seized the opportunity. So, why's that? He's a fucking pussy.
I think he still has, his eunuch shame.
Yeah. Yeah. That's totally it. Tonio falls asleep. He wakes up later as Guido and the Contessa come into his room, and the Contessa tells him to promise her that when he is famous, he will tell everyone that it was in her house in Naples that he first sang. Then she explains that she has written to her cousin, the Cardinal Calvino, in Rome, and that Tonio will live with him. She says Guido wants to leave immediately, get to know the audiences, and start working, because Tonio is to make his first appearance as a principal singer in Guido's opera in the Teatro Argentina in Rome on the 1st of the year. Wow! Tonio's making it! Wow!
Superstar!
Yeah, shit. That's the end of chapter 15.
He's so lucky.
Yeah.
He's a star.
So, Signor Ruggiero, is he the owner of a theater? Because what exactly was he buying? Is he buying their services to perform?
I did not understand. Maybe a contract where he has to perform.
In his theater? So does he own
a certain amount of time?
I guess I'm wondering why Signor Ruggiero is necessary. If he doesn't own a theater, what can he offer them? Right?
True.
So he has to be the owner of a theater. Yeah, the Teatro Argentina. He must own that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I get it. This book is clearly for adults. Because we're adults and even we don't get it half the time. God. Chapter 16. A fortnight later, the day of departure arrives. Everything is packed, Tonio's rooms are empty, and he's standing at his window looking out into the garden for the last time. Saying goodbye to Paolo had been really difficult. Paolo had been really quiet and clearly upset. Tonio can't bear to leave him like this, so he's scheming in his head. At this point, it doesn't say what the scheme is, so I just kind of immediately imagine Tonio stuffing Paolo into a suitcase.
Sneaking him in.
Yeah, just to bring him along. Maestro Cavalla comes into the room. Then the maestro asks Tonio if the little trick they had played on him at the Contessa had made it easier. And Tonio says it did. So, this trick, I guess, is that it was the Contessa's idea to, ask him to sing. And
when he was there.
Yeah. But Tonio suddenly has an uneasy feeling about the maestro, who then asks Tonio what he's thinking. Tonio confesses he's afraid he will fail in Rome. But that's not entirely true. Tonio's actually thinking about how much he wants this life. So I guess he's actually thinking about how he can't actually have it because he has to leave at some point to murder the shit out of Carlo.
Yeah.
Or he thinks maybe he is so afraid of actually living his life and enjoying it that he had to construct some other dark purpose for his life to stop himself. Does that make sense to you?
I'm trying to wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, so, like, makes me wonder why he would be afraid of living his life and enjoying it. Maybe he doesn't feel worthy of it, or, like...
Yeah, or he
his life should have been
enjoy
something
his
else.
life so much that he'll, like, not want to take revenge anymore.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. But it also says that maybe he had to construct some other dark purpose. And I figure that dark purpose is the revenge plot. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my brain's moving super slow today.
Thanks, chamomile tea.
Yeah. Next time we need to get that caffeine.
That caffeine.
Get that caffeine. Just inject it into my...
Heart.
You were so ready. Heart! Okay. Fuck, where was I? Okay. The maestro tells Tonio there's no way he will fail, but Tonio is still unsure. But then the maestro looks troubled and tells Tonio they need to talk before he leaves. He reminds Tonio that he knows what had been done to him, that he knows why he has been patient all these years. Tonio, trying not to get angry, tells him he knows nothing. But Tonio is wrong as fuck. The maestro tells him he knows Carlo has 2 healthy sons now, and he knows that Tonio has never sent any assassins against him, when he definitely could have, but Tonio hasn't spoken about this topic for 3 years, so it's really hard for him to hear the maestro speak so casually about it. Like it's just another thing. Tonio doesn't want to talk about it. But the reason the maestro brings this up is that he believes Tonio will be destroyed if he makes a move against Carlo, because Carlo's so heavily protected.
Yeah.
He encourages Tonio to send some hired thugs instead, if he must do it.
Send some bravos.
Yeah. But Tonio was attacked by bravos, and he still has nightmares about it. So we can assume he doesn't really want to work with any.
No.
They argue back and forth for a while, but Tonio stands his ground, saying what was done to him must be avenged. And the argument is over. Tonio is in tears now, sad that it had to end this way between them because he loves the maestro. But the maestro reassures him that he isn't angry with him, that he also loves him. Tonio then asks to take Paolo with him to Rome. The maestro doesn't seem pleased with the request, so Tonio utilizes his, like, political Venice manipulation techniques. And he tells the maestro the one thing that can save him from his vengeance is his love for others. For Guido, Paolo, and the maestro himself. So he's like, trust me, you want me to take Paolo with me, dude. Then we cut to a scene where Tonio finds Paolo crying in the chapel and asks him if he wants to come to Rome with them.
It was like a hypothetical kind of ask.
Yeah, it was
pretty
like
dramatic.
a cute little, yeah. Just like, what would you think if,
Imagine if.
As their carriage takes off, Tonio watches Vesuvius and its smoke plume until it disappears from view. Goodbye, Vesuvius.
Bye, Naples.
Goodbye, the place where I was the happiest I had ever been. Oh, that's sad. And as night falls, Tonio weeps as they're trundling along in the carriage. That's the end of chapter 16 and the end of part 4. Thoughts? I like to move my arm around with the wrist brace. It feels so much more dramatic.
Because you can't.
Because I can't bend my wrist.
So just like,
It feels robotic. Thoughts?
I'm just excited.
Yeah.
To know the drama that goes down in Rome.
Wait, do you know the drama?
No, I don't remember it.
You don't remember the drama?
No.
Okay. Yeah. It is exciting. It's like, he's going to Rome now, and this is where, you know, all the audiences are supposed to be super critical.
Yeah. He's gonna make it or
Break
break
it.
it.
Yeah, he's either going to become a star or he's going to be booed off the stage. And also, like, how is the revenge plot going to fit into this?
Yeah, I want to see.
Is it still going to happen?
like
That's a question I have. Or is he going to fall so in love with, you know, his life as a famous
mega superstar celebrity.
superstar that he kind of decides to put it aside. That would be a huge moment.
It would be. Changing for the better, Tonio.
Yeah, because if you think about it, what is going to change if he goes and kills Carlo?
Make him feel better for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, for a couple minutes, and then he'll just go back to... He'll have ruined his whole... everything he had worked for, right?
If he's caught.
The cross stars.
Oh, scheiße.
All right, well, that's the end of this episode. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at Tigbab Podcast. That's Tigbab. You can also follow us individually. My handle is Crimby. Jessica's is jess.egan24. You can also follow the the page on Facebook. Just look up Tigbab Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better on Facebook, and it should come up. Also, we are on all the streaming platforms. Reminder.
Please follow.
So yeah, you can follow those or download them and
Give reviews on Apple.
yeah, you can only positive reviews allowed.
We'll delete any negative.
I don't think you can. If you want to check out my writing, you can go to my website, ravenegan.wordpress.com. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next time. Bye!